Hey, good morning. This is Kenneth Clark. I'm a business consultant with the Key Bridge Business Recovery Program, and on behalf of Sharon Pender, the president of the Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, I'd like to welcome you to this important session we're doing today. Um, we're going to get started on time because we're not going to honor those who are late by waiting for them, but we're going to get started because business starts on time. Um, so I'd like to say that first of all, this program is sponsored by CRMSCC, which is the Capital Region Minority Spot Development Council, Sarah Pena president. And the council has a couple of other programs called the Capital Readiness Program and the Key Bridge Business Recovery Program. And so you're here on this program because everybody is in business recovery in some way or somehow because nothing ever works exactly the way you want it to do, and you ought to be looking at other ways to advance. We look at this program as being one of the special ways to make that happen, and that because this seminar is about the MBE certification from the Department of Transportation, and in the area of both business recovery and business advancement, the seminar is very important. It will open the door to new contract opportunities available from the state and from many jurisdictions around the states, counties, and cities. And some of these opportunities are accessible. All of them are accessible, meaning that they are near you because they're in Baltimore. A lot of them are in Baltimore, a lot of them are in Annapolis, but there are places where you can get to. There are places where have truck, have car will travel, and you can make money. Like one client told us, the Build Back the Key Bridge Business Recovery Program put them in rooms that they didn't know exist. Well, this program also will put you into rooms that you probably didn't know exist and give you the key to getting in those rooms through certification with the state of Maryland. Now, we'd also like to say that if you're not certified with the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council and you're an ethnic minority, that's another key to getting into rooms where you may not have an opportunity to get in the past. So take advantage of that also. Um, so let's uh, let's follow on. You're going to get some good information today. Our speaker of the day is Sonia Hopkins, who is the CEO and founder of the Sage Services Group. Think about Sage. The word Sage means wise, and you're going to get wise counseling today from Sonia, who is very qualified to do this. Why? Because she is doing and has done all the things that you need to be thinking about doing. She has started a business. She has grown a business. She is gotten certified as both a CRMSEC and she is certified with the state of Maryland on the MDOT. And now she's teaching other people on how to get certified with the state of Maryland. She's also the chairperson of the CRMSEC Minority Business Input Committee. That means that she is representing all of you on the board of directors of our council. So she is very much in a wise, sage role of representing all of the minority businesses. Now, she started a business at the kitchen table, and she's now grown it into a multi-state, multi I won't say multi-million, I'm not sure, but she is growing her business to a multi-million operation. So you want to be sure to listen to her carefully. So I'm gonna let Sonia provide any additional information she wants to have about her in a moment. But I just wanted to say that if you have any questions, be sure to raise them either in chat or you come off, and she'll tell you this again. I'll come off mute and let us know that you want to say something, and we'll try to get your questions in. Following this session, we will give you an opportunity to hear more about other activities that the council is going to be involved in for the rest of this year. So stay tuned, stay to the end so you get that good information. So let me turn it over now to Sonia Hopkins and carry on, Sonia.
All right, I'm gonna have to take Ken with me everywhere I go to remind me that when those tough days come, you could be back at your kitchen table. So let's just keep this thing moving forward. But thank
Amen.
you all so much for joining us. I'm so thankful for the council for offering this because even no matter how many times you either teach it or hear it, it's always good to hear something, hear it again, and get more reinforcement. So it's really a good thing that they are here, that they are offering this. And I'm hoping that you guys take full advantage of what we're going to be covering today. So let me go ahead and get ready to start my slides and get myself in presentation mode. There we go. There we go. So today's session is part of, Ken mentioned that whole, the Build Back program to get you ready to learn some ways of how to grow and expand the business as you currently operate it. We've had our quick welcome. I'm going to ask for some intro information in a minute, but this is our basic agenda. But I want you to know that I will set agenda aside for questions. So you have the options, raise your hand, come off mute and break into the conversation, put it into the chat, because this is all about you getting the information that you need to be able to move your business forward. I will tell you that this is not a lecture. This is not theory. This is more of a workshop. So I even expect as we're going through some of these things, when I tell you actions to take, go ahead and take them. And if you say, Sonia, slow down, I need a minute. You told me to do this. Let me go ahead and start getting my information together. You should leave this session with actions to take that are going to help move the needle for your business. So, one thing we talk about in our MBE input committee meetings is that your next $1 million deal or multi-million-dollar deal could be with somebody that's partnered with you right now on this call. So, what I want you to do is take a quick moment and in the chat, I want you to put your name, your business name, where you're from. You know, if you're in the Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Prince George's County, wherever you are, put that in there, which certifications you're interested in, as well as some contact information. I like to review that information at the end of the meeting so that more that I can learn about your business and or Ken or Latoya, anyone from the council. If we know what you do, we might be in rooms where we hear that your services are needed. So consider everybody on here extended hands of your marketing department. So please don't let that moment pass. Load it up in the chat, and then we'll make sure we'll go back and reference that as we go. And I'll put mine in there once we get a little break in the presentation. All right. Well, let me see. And we might have a small group on here with us this morning. So I'm gonna call on a couple of folks to just come on off mute and tell me who you are. So let me start with Miss Barbara Hutchinson. While you stop typing for a quick second and come off mute and give us your name and your business name and a quick 25 seconds about what you do.
Yes, good morning. Could you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Wonderful. I'm Dr. Barbara Hutchinson. I'm the president and CEO of Chesapeake Cardiac Care, which is an adult cardiovascular and sleep medicine practice located in the DMV area. Delighted to be on. And
Thank
I am MDE. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Vanette Wagner. Vanette, are you able to come off mute? Give us a quick highlight of who you are.
Good morning. My name is Vanette Wagner, and it's Chesapeake LLC, located at Otis and
Awesome. Thank you. Bernie. Bernie Marable.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bernie Marable, President and CEO of Premier Consultants International. We are in the construction services business. We primarily do finished carpentry, architectural millwork, and miscellaneous ornamental metals. We're based in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Thank you. Bernie, I'm going to talk to you because I might see if you got some contacts down in South Carolina.
Okay.
All right. All right. Don Green. Don, are you able to come off mute? There.
Me as I was trying to type additional in the chat. Sorry. Hi, Sonia. Yeah, general contractor based in DC, certified with Baltimore, WMATA, MY, and DSLBD, several MBE certifications. We do general construction, a lot of commercial from the ground up.
Cool, cool. All right. William Cox.
William Cox, based out of Odenton. We do in Baltimore. We do Summit Infrastructure Consultant. Do a bunch of different things as far as hauling dirt, even from down from Seager Terminal, moving containers through the DMV, and we're trying to get our MDOT, MBE.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Felice Reed. So Felice, you want to come off mute and give us a quick highlight of who you are?
Hi, I'm Felice Reed. I have a business called Regenerative Mind Body Healthcare, but I'm trying to make a change to start doing contracting and learn how to get certified and all of that. I do have a DBA as Regenerative. It's just RMBW Consulting, doing business as to try to get into another arena for contracts.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And Abadiah Lashley.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abadea Ashley, and I have a business. My business name is Loomis HR Solution. I am doing HR consulting, and I am just interested in learning more and getting an MDOT certification.
Cool beans. Well, thank you. Also, when we have a small group like this, not only can you put it in the chat, but it gives you a chance to be able to hear from each other. But I heard connective tissues between some of the groups that are there, folks that are doing some construction, folks that are doing hauling, making sure our hearts are working right. And then once our hearts are working right, let's make sure our minds and our bodies are also working right. And if any of you all need to hire people, you need to be reaching out to our classmate that is in the HR field to help you be able to get some of the services that you need. So that is why we like to take the time during this to have you either put it in the chat or at least be able to, well, put it in the chat or speak it if we've got that time in there to do that. Because again, I'm truly believe that your next big deal can come from somebody that is on a meeting somewhere with you. So as we move through this process, I want to ask a couple of questions. Some of you all have heard, some of you all actually provided this information, but often when we start talking about getting certified, there's just some basic steps that need to have taken place. So you can give an emoji, a thumbs up or something. You're like, I have legally formed my business. I'm an LLC, I'm a corporation, some sort of structure, a partnership. If you've done that, give me some emojis and some high fives and some hands up. Okay. Now, this next question always begs people like, well, what do you mean? You're like, I know who owns and controls my business. Let me see your hands, your thumbs. Good, 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 good. When you're going after these certifications, this concept of control is becoming more and more of a conversation every day because there's been the fraud and abuse that's been happening in businesses from people who their name is on the paperwork, but somebody else is controlling them behind the scenes. This crowd sounds very mature, so I'm assuming the business has its own bank account or bank accounts, and you're not mixing and mingling it with your personal money. Gotcha, gotcha. I have filed my business tax returns, or I am prepared to file my business tax returns. All right, seeing my heads nods. Okay, I can easily locate my business documents. That's my LLC paperwork, my operating agreements, my invoices, all of my documentation. I can put my hands on it. The last part, many of you already have some certifications, but just which certifications you want to pursue. And number 7 is the one I truly like to drive home, is that I understand that certification is a process, not a guarantee of contracts. Can't tell you how many people I've worked with over the last 6 or 7 years where they assume that just because I got a certification, I'm automatically going to get a contract. And that could not be farther from the truth. So I want to make sure that you all are understanding that. So thank you for enduring with me for this quick pulse check to see that you're in the right place at the right time on the right day with the right mindset. I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute and talk about what are some of the updates that are happening as it relates to business certification, be it woman-owned, be it minority, being it socially or economically disadvantaged. One of the big things that are happening across the board for any of these certifications is that there is an increased ask for documentation. I mentioned who owns and controls your business. That's a big deal. The who owns and controls comes down to whose names are on the bank account, whose name can sign people into contracts. If you're leasing something, but somebody else has signed the requirements for the lease, if that has not been clearly identified in your paperwork, then they're going to want to know, well, if this person decides they don't want to sign for the lease anymore, can you still operate your business? This often happens with people who own trucks or who have major equipment. If you're not the one signing the lease for your trucks and your equipment, do you actually own it? And can that person get mad at you and walk away? And now you can't call yourself a trucking company because somebody has taken all your trucks. So in order to make sure that the people who are really running the business are running the business, government and commercial entities are asking for even more documentation. Well, what happens when you ask for more documentation? It takes longer to go through the review cycle. On the federal level, a lot of people that were there are no longer there. At the state and local level, people are being asked to do more with less. So if you submit to MDOT, I want you to put your seatbelt on because you're looking at about 6 months or more before you'll finally get an answer. But keep an eye out on your emails because sometimes they'll ask for more documentation and they'll tell you only have about a week to 10 days to respond. If you don't respond, think about it like pancake stacks, right? If you're at the top of the list and they're working on you and they need to ask you a question, when they send it to you, they might take your pancake and set it over here to the side. But if you take more than 10 days to get back to them, your pancake is going all the way down to the bottom and they're going to continue to work through their list. So you want to be very timely in your response when they ask questions, but recognize it doesn't happen overnight. I put a little asterisk there for this. A lot of the contracts that come out, larger ones, they have subcontractor requirements. If you're entering into an agreement with someone who wants to use your services, they want to use your services, but your certification is still pending. You can have that organization write a letter for you and have them submitted to the certifying bodies for MDOT and even for like Prince George's County and Baltimore County, Baltimore City, everywhere, and say that, look, I'm going to join, I need this person to provide this service. Is there any way to please expedite their certification? And sometimes they will issue like a limited one or a shorter period one while they continue their due diligence. But if you that's for when you're in a relationship with someone who wants to use your services immediately. A lot of these certifications are looking to remove or reduce race and sex-based presumptions. And the key word for that is presumption. Just because you might be African American, just because you might be a female, just because you might be Hispanic, just because you might be from a certain group, at one time there was a presumption of disadvantage. Now they're making everyone go through and provide the documentation to verify and validate that you do have disadvantage. Well, Sonia, what is that? there's narratives that have to be written, and each narrative for each organization has a format. So you could point to the inability to have equal access to education, the inability to have equal access to capital, the inability to be able to move or be able to grow and be promoted or win contracts because of the types of business that you're in. And not only do you have to write what happened, they want to know when it happened, and they want to know the impact. So I've shared mine with the government, so I can feel comfortable sharing it here. At one of the positions that I worked with before I decided to go into business for myself, we were subjected to what you would call the institutional discrepancies. When there was a class action suit brought against the company, and I have the court case, all that information. And throughout that, it was determined that throughout my career, I was about $30,000 to $40,000 paid less than my peer. And I had twice as much education, and then in the points, twice as much experience, but it was about $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Well, the impact of that over 13, 14 years of working there moved into millions of dollars of unrealized income. With that low level of unrealized income, when it came time to start my business, I didn't have the net worth or the basis to be able to get loans to launch my business and scale early. So it's not just the what happened. You're going to have to be able to explain what has been the impact of that. I mentioned the greater emphasis on control and independence, and the more that is being emphasized that certification is a tool. It is not your business development strategy. So when I talk to people outside of the certification process, I talk to them about how good are you at what you do? How have you benefited your customer? How have you made sure you've moved the needle for them? How have you done, did you make it faster, better, cheaper? Did you help them save money? Did you help them improve quality? What is it that you did? Because it's pushing back towards more of that merit base. And you have to be able to articulate that merit base for your company. So just a quick highlights on those. Ken or anybody, you seeing any questions in the chat? Oh, I can open it up over here. Just saw that. So yeah, I got the chat over here. So, if you got any questions as we go through this, please let me know. Which certification is right for you? We are talking today a lot about the Maryland Department of Transportation cert, but I want to make sure that you know that there's all different levels and different kinds of certifications. So you really got to figure out what's the right one for you. In this case, who do you want to sell to? Where are your buyers buying? What size contracts do you want to go after? What is your capacity? What is your readiness? So when you want to figure out, I learned something early when I was starting my business. Somebody asked me, they were asking like, who did you want to sell to in the Fed or in the state? And we're all spitting out names. And they asked the question, do you know who the largest purveyor or the largest seller, the user of dog food was in the federal government? Most people said, oh, Drug Enforcement Agency. People were like the Department of Defense. They were calling out all kinds of names of people that you would expect to buy large quantities of dog food. Well, the answer turned out to be it's the State Department. When you think about the fact that the State Department has entities, embassies, locations all around the world in every country, and all of the security that goes with that. That's when you learn, that's when they said, yeah, the largest buyer of dog food is the State Department. So if you sold dog food and State Department wasn't on your radar, you're going after the pennies instead of the larger portions. So when you think about what you sell, really pay attention to do your research, do your homework, look at budgets, especially for counties and cities and smaller entities. Pull out their annual plan, pull out their annual budget, take a look and see where they're spending their dollars. If they are spending their dollars with what you buy, that's where you put your marketing, that's where you put your certification, that is where you put your time. If they're not spending anything for what you want, then take it off. You can always come back and talk to them later at another time, but picking the right certification really comes down to you doing good homework. So at the state level, you've got a couple of different areas. You have the disadvantaged business enterprise. If any of you all have services that are inside the airport, or you know someone who wants to do a kiosk, or they want to open up another, they closed the Chipotle at BWI, broke my heart. Oh my gosh, because I don't like Cadobo, but they moving stuff around and doing everything inside the airport. So that's what the concessions are. Then you have the small business enterprise, or the SBR program. The SBR program, and we actually have an MBE in our council who's been working with the governor's office on procurement reform. They have helped move the needle to move. SBR used to be like anything about $25,000 to $100,000 for small businesses. Well, what they've done is remove the floor for SBR. So anything from $1 up to, I think now it's close to like 300,000, with the goal for it eventually to be 500,000, because we can make money to pay bills on $5,000 purchase card orders. Nothing wrong with those. When you get them, that money spends just the same, but we can't grow and scale our businesses on just those all the time. So they moved the ceiling and the floor so that larger contracts can be put into the SBR business. And of course, for those who have served us in the country, the state is also looking to serve you. So if you are a veteran, anybody on here that might be a veteran, there's the Veteran Small Business Entity Program that's available at the state. And then you've got all the various counties here. I listed some of the big ones, but they're all of the counties now either have some level of certification process that is based on what you might get from the state, but many of them also have what they call a local business. So if in Prince George's County, because that's where I pay my taxes and that's where I lived, and that's how we pushed people, we're like, look, you're spending a lot of money with people who don't pay taxes into this county. So you need to spend more money with us. And so those programs have come about. We're working with a program down in Charles County where they're seeking to do more business with theirs. And then you've got, I said, Baltimore, Prince George's, Montgomery, but Anne Arundel County, they want to spend money with theirs. Howard County, even in Frederick and different places like that. So when you're looking at certifications or small and local business registrations, I heard somebody mention WMATA and which is Metro, and then you've got WMAA, MWAA, which is the Airport Authority, WSSC. All of the local quasi-government organizations also have a local business component. So make sure that when you're registering and looking to register, you're also getting involved with those organizations and putting your information there, especially if they're buying your services. So I'm going to take a quick pause here, pulse check, unmute, ask me some questions about anything that I have asked so far, anything you want me to go back and clarify.
So Sonia, some of those jurisdictions also use the state as their backup. So sometimes it's just a matter of registering with these other jurisdictions and letting them know you're certified. That's
Yes.
okay. Mhm.
Yep. And some of them have now, you remember one of my slides earlier, I said the state was taking a long time doing that. Some
Right.
of the states are allowing you to, some of the local jurisdictions are allowing you to do it concurrently. You can tell them you have an MDOT application pending, but if you can provide like a copy of either your personal home tax record, if you're operating your business out of your home, or a local tax record for your business, if you can provide that, that at least proves to them that you are local. And then you can start to receive those opportunities coming through the mail. For my folks that are in that construction, the hauling, different kind of parts and pieces type businesses, when I tell you Amtrak is spending money like nobody's business, and somebody come off mute and tell me why you think Amtrak is spending so much money to upgrade their services. Why do you think that's happening?
The system is antiquated. It's long overdue.
It is old as long overdue. What's another thing that could also be helping them try to push forward and getting themselves more up to date?
For bonus points, the transportation package that Biden passed.
They got the money, and so now they need to hurry up and spend it. And the third leg of that, so thank you so much. Who was that gave me all that good stuff?
Don
Okay,
Green.
Don, thank you, thank you. And the other reason why is if you look at whenever we start moving into war and into these types of situations, you notice our gas prices are going up. So when gas prices go up, plane tickets go up. And when plane tickets go up, people start looking for alternate ways of travel. So they start looking for, wait, it's too expensive for me to drive and it's too expensive for me to fly. I can get on a train and ride comfortably for pennies on the dollar in comparison to some of those. So they're really looking to update and innovate on their system. So if you have any of the services that you think would fit into something like an Amtrak or WMATA/Metro and all of that good stuff, then make sure that you go ahead and put that information in place. All right, now I'm gonna dig into let me do a quick time check because I get excited about this stuff and I'll talk all day. But let me get to this. This is the meat and potatoes. Remember when I asked you, couldn't you get your hands on all your stuff? I have worked with people individually and I've worked in groups. And people will tell me, yep, Sonia, I got everything I need. And I said, okay, before you start the application process for any of these certs, I want each of you all to create a folder and call that folder certifications. So if you're at your computer, go ahead on and do it while I'm talking. You don't have to look at my slides. I'm going to tell you everything I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what I told you and make sure that you do it. But create that folder called certifications. And under there, create another subfolder called required documents. One reason why you want to create this structure is because just about every certification you do is at a minimum going to ask for these documents. Each certification has an application process, the MDOT process, and I'm gonna click over there in a minute, but let me walk through this real quick. But in the MDOT process, they give you the opportunity to download the PDF. Like, some you sounding like that progressive commercial. You got me printing out paper and doing this. It's gonna save you so much. If you download that application, you can start filling in the blanks. And then when you have a question, you're like, oh, shoot, I need to go find this. Oh, wait, what did I do for that? You can stop on that piece of paper, fill it in, and then keep on going. And then when all of the questions are answered, when you log into the system to fill out your application, you will get it done in one sitting. Oftentimes people will start, then they have to stop, then life takes over, then you're doing stuff for your business. And before you know it, 2, 3, 4 weeks have gone by and you have not come back to the application. They will kick your application out of the system and you have to start all over again. So when I tell you and I ask you to fill out the application outside of the system first so that you have everything, is so that when you sit down and devote to yourself, I'm going to take the next 2 hours and get my certification application done. It's because your application is complete and all of these documents that I'm telling you that you're going to need are already in a folder. And you're just spending your time doing drag and drop. So one of the things they ask for is proof of contributions used to acquire ownership. Most of us started our businesses ourselves. We took money out of our personal account, we put it into a different bank account, and we started our business. We paid $350 to the state of Maryland, and that's how we got our business started. That's what they mean by proof of contributions used to acquire ownership. Next is resumes. We all have great resumes. If you've not been in business long or you're still working while you're running your business, I just ask you to make one switch. Put the business at the top of the resume and then put your job underneath. Why is that, Sonia? Because they want to see that your business is first. I know it seems like a technicality. Why can't they just read it and understand? You want somebody to take your application and keep going through and checking all the boxes, not stopping to have to ask questions. So if you are the owner, if you have officers or people that you're directing in your business, or you have key employees that make the business go, you need to have all of their resumes. And you need to make sure that the company that you're applying for the certification for is at the top. Proof of citizenship, that's pretty standard. And, it can be your passport, it can be any of those other kind of documentation. Just make sure you put it all in the folder. If you're going to use your passport, everybody knows they expire. Make sure you put, whenever you renew your passport, put the new one in the folder, take the old one out so you don't inadvertently upload an expired document, and then that kicks your application back out for you to make a change and slows down the process. They will always ask for new certifications, at least 3 years of your personal federal taxes. Federal taxes. No one asks for your state taxes. If you are doing it and don't have a separate accounting system, or you're filing a Schedule C, you're going to put all of the documents, including the Schedule C, in for your personal. And then when it's time to put your business federal taxes, just pull the Schedule C out and you're going to scan and upload that. I like to make sure people understand that at a certain point, if you are being paid out of your business, you should have transitioned over to an LLC, filing as an S corp, or talk to your accountant and all your folks about making sure you get that right, because now you're going to have what they call an 1120S. So this is a totally different tax form that's actually due in March. I'm not, y'all all gave me thumbs up that you got your taxes filed and you're doing all of that good stuff. They will accept extensions, but you must file the extension on time. And often they will hold on your approval until you actually file. And that's because they want to make sure that Uncle Sam is getting what he's supposed to get. Um, Next one is year-end financial services. Well, Sonia, I just started my business in January of this year. I don't have year-end financial statements for the business. Well, if you just started in January, then what you're going to do is write a memo, and in the section when they ask for financial statements, I started my business in January. Here is where I am as of the end of March. And financial statements are balance sheet and profit and loss. Well, I don't have an accountant. Do I need to go out and buy QuickBooks? I'm not here to promote any software platforms. I don't care if you use an Excel spreadsheet, but if you don't know how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out and where it's going, to be able to explain why or why not you're profitable and make decisions, you got a problem. So whatever it takes for you to be able to get that, you need to get it. And check in with Ken and the CRMSDC and the Build Back team. They might know of a series of accountants. They're not going to make a recommendation for you for a direct person, but they're like, hey, here's 10 accountants in our listing. Call them, interview them. But you need to understand where your money is. A lot of us are not profitable and we don't grow because we don't know where our dollars are going. And we're using emotions to make decisions, vice our financial statements and financial ratios. So that was my soapbox. I'm gonna put that away. Copies of professional licenses. If you're in trucking and hauling, there's licenses and things you have to require there. If you are in construction, there's licenses and things that are required for that. If you're an esthetician, certain positions and certain jobs require you to have a professional license. If your company requires professional engineers to do the work and you're not the professional engineer, then you need to have submitted a resume for the professional engineer and a copy of their license. As you're starting to work and build your business, you'll also want to make sure that that person has an agreement in place and you have a pathway in place to continue to hire those people. Because if they leave your business, we're back at ownership and control. If you can't get work because you're not a PE and your PE decides to leave, then your business is in jeopardy. So that's that. Are you guys seeing how I'm weaving all the stuff I'm telling you together and how this is how they review your application? Business bank signature cards. I'm so old and been in business so long. I remember when you had to go in the bank and they actually did make you sign a little card and they kept it on file. And so whenever, they give you a copy of it, but whenever you needed it, you could always go back to the bank. Well, most of these bank accounts now in these non-traditional banks, you're just signing a piece of paper. But whatever it is, you need to get a letter. Like we opened up, we acquired a new company and we decided to use Capital One instead of the bank that we were working with. I did all of that sitting in my house, but I'm able to go online and get a letter from Capital One that shows I'm the owner, I'm the signatory, and all of that good stuff on there. So get a copy of it, put it in this folder. And then under agreements, I talked about if you have to lease your trucks. I know sometimes when we get started, we don't have 30, 40, $50,000 to buy trucks and cranes and all this good stuff. If you have an agreement, then you need to be the signatory on the agreement. If you're leasing workspace, you need to be the signatory on there. If you have loans, you need to be the signatory on the loan. If you have partners and they have to sign, then they're going to show up also here in the multiple resumes. They're going to show up in things like the operating agreement, all of the documents that you have to submit, it's going to show up there. So that is what they mean by agreements. So you are showing control and ownership of it through that. Yes, Barbara, I see your hands up.
Yes, good morning. Two questions.
Mhm.
One, on the proof of contribution, suppose you bought that business 25 years ago. What are they looking for? That's the first question. And under the business, the federal taxes, how many years do they usually require? Because it's 3 for personal, how much for business?
So usually so let me answer the first question first. So if, let's say you started your business 25 years ago and none of that, you can't find that information. You should be able to have like your original articles of agreement, articles of incorporation. It says, I started my business here. I paid whatever state to get my business started, and it cost XYZ dollars. So that's what somebody refers to as cert memos. So I actually create a template for myself that says memo for contributions. And then I write in there on my letterhead what I just told you. Started my business 25 years ago, incorporated it here. It cost XYZ amount. No longer have access to that receipt, but here's a copy of the original LLC papers from when I started it. And then you upload that into the line item that asks you about your proof of contributions. So what you've done is given them a story to follow the paperwork. That help?
Thank you.
And then for the years of federal, I need to make sure I'm gonna double check this, but I believe it's 5. They asked for 5 years, recognizing that people might not have been in business for 5 years. So for that, let's say you've been in business, 2025 was your first year and you close your books. When you close your books and you upload your 2025 taxes, I will have the people that I mentor and I counsel. I was like, write a memo. Said, I started my business in XYZ year. Therefore, I only have the 1 year of taxes for 2025. And then upload that into the documents, because in each of these platforms, there's places where they will ask for something and then they'll give you a button to push to upload. So when you upload it, that is where you can provide the explanation for that. Awesome. Any more questions? Y'all hit me. Y'all are real quiet. I'm either boring you to death or I'm giving you too much all at one time. Okay. All right. So when you do this, I did tell you that things are moving kind of slow, right? So while you're waiting for people to respond, I want you to go in and register in the various procurement portals. So Maryland has Emma. Let me give you a quick thing about Emma. It has come a long way since it first got started. But the mandate is that every state, every county, every buying entity, every local jurisdiction, everyone in the state of Maryland will put their procurements in Emma. Now, if you're with DHR for the state of Maryland, not only will they put it in Emma, but everything that you need for it will be managed within Emma. If you are Charles County will put the information in Emma, but they have their own procurement portal.
Emma
So
is an acronym. What's the full
yes,
word?
thank you. eMaryland Marketplace.
Mhm.
Yes, the eMaryland Marketplace Advantage, I think is what the second A is for. But
Mhm.
if you were to just even Google, put in EMMA and procurement, it's going to get you to the right place and not get you to like, what's the name of the lady's name? Emma Watson and all them people that are actors. But eMaryland Marketplace is what that stands for. Thank you. So when you go there, like I said, Charles County will put their information in that system, but you might find that there's another hyperlink in there to take you back to their procurement portal. So just be aware of that while you're searching. So while Governor Hogan, under his initial period and continuing on with Governor Wes Moore, they're pushing everybody in Maryland to put it in a centralized place. That's so you can initially find it, but don't be discouraged if you have to hop out and go to another system to get more details and all the underlying documents. That's just how it is. Build your capability statement. You'll see that there's some people that are online with you right now that have been in business for an extensive period of time. Your capability statement is your business resume. If you're unsure about how to build yours or you want to make some tweaks to it, reach out to some of your peers that are on here with you today and say, hey, can you take a look at my capability statement and tell me what you think if I were to give this to you, if my business were to reach out to you? Iron sharpens iron. Let's get better together. Talked about identifying your target buyers, and buyers are not just the agencies and organizations, but use your LinkedIn and I'm not big on, I don't use the other ones too much, but Instagram or Facebook Marketplace or wherever to identify who are the people who actually would, if I want to sell my service, who do I need to talk to? Who's that 98.6 and breathing that I need to go and reach out to? Where can I meet them? What outreach events can I go to? And when you go to outreach events, I'd like to give people a couple of tidbits for that. Come prepared with who you want to talk to. Don't just walk around to every table because, again, if they're not buying from you, you might not have anything in common to share. But if you go there, you might ask questions like, hey, this is the type of service that I do. I didn't see it as one of the services that you procure often, but is it something that you might procure every 5 years, every 3 years? Talk to them. So that's what you're doing at the outreach. And then this is Sonia's personal pet peeve. When you've talked to that person for about 45 seconds to a minute, pay attention to their eyes and their feet. If their eyes wander away or their feet turn away, you've talked too much. It's time for you to go. And there's a line of people behind you. So let's just be mindful because the people that you want to sell to are paying attention to how do you treat the time and space that they give you. So that's a Sonia pet peeve. And I've talked to a lot of corporate members and Ken, I can't see if you nod in your head that's something that people they get on that all the time. Like, oh my gosh, this person has talked to me for 35 minutes. And that's kind of just rude and ill-mannered. Between Emma, between the platforms, between talking to people, review the solicitations that are out there. Read, read, read. Remember any of this? Y'all might not be old enough. I remember this organization called RIF. Reading is fundamental. Read the solicitations, see what pieces you can do. And if you can't do them all, reach out and bring somebody with you. Don't just discount it because they ask for 7 things and you only do 4. Somebody in the circle, somebody in the world does the other 3, and that is your new business partner. And I need to take this last bullet off because some organizations are still doing site visits. A lot of them put them away during COVID. So just pay attention to what those rules and requirements are for if they decide to come and visit. So yeah, I have a home office. What are they gonna come do? Well, when I got certified by CRMSDC, the person in charge of certification there came to my house. We sat at the kitchen table and I talked to them about my business. When I got certified by MDOT in the state of Maryland, they came to my house and they came and sat at my kitchen table. There's no shame in that game. And with prices being high as I don't know what now, people, and after COVID, people moved away from a lot of leased space. So don't feel like you need to go out and incur some sort of expense. When they do that, they're often just looking to see, are you where you said you were doing what you said you were going to do? Now, if you have a business that, you're building cabinetry, they're not expecting you to be building cabinetry inside your home because they can be OSHA issues and all that kind of stuff. But whatever your business office is, if this organization is still doing site visits, just get yourself prepared and have all the documentation that I told you to have in a folder sitting there so that they can talk you through it.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all I got for right now. Here's my contact information. They're going to give you the slides and give you all of the, everything, the recording. So as you go back and listen to it and you think of things, I was trying to keep up with the chat. I don't see any questions right now, but just that's it in a nutshell. So Ken, did you let you all take it? I know you had some closing comments.
Let's talk, folks. Are there any questions that you did not bring up while Sonia was talking? Take yourself off mute and raise your hand, and we'll hear you and respond to you. Well, I'm not seeing anything. So looks like Sonia, you did a great job, a sage and wise discussion.
Well, thank you all for the kindness, but can I highlight one thing? Abadea Lashley says that she can help people with their capability statement. So if anybody needs help with their capability statement, you got somebody on the call, please put your contact information back in there again, Abadea, so that they can reach out to you.
Okay. Well, I think we want to be sure that everyone understands a couple of things. One, the state of Maryland has one of the best minority business programs in the country. It has been able to survive up so far all of the challenges that have hit it from federal courts and people who wishing to see that you don't have the opportunity to get access to contracts. So be sure to take advantage of this certification. Now, the other certification you need to take advantage of is the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council certification. Capital Region is one of the 23 councils of the National Minority Supply Development Council. The National Minority Supply Development Council is made up of over 1,000 or more corporations that have supply diversity programs and are trying to get access to minority businesses that will help them expand their supply chain. You want to be in all of the supply chains that are available. MDOT will get you to the supply chain of corporate of state of Maryland and state of Maryland jurisdiction contracts. And MSC will get you access to corporate contracts. And as it turns out, some jurisdictions also take the CRMSCC certification. So we worked on that over the years, and that happens. Not all. But the other thing is that the folder that Sonia asked you to put together with your certification documentation is usable for other certifications, not only for the state of Maryland, but for SAM, for your federal certifications, and the CRMSCC certification, or NMSC certification. So that folder becomes a very important set of documents for you, and that documents your business and sets you up for other activity that you can use it for. So don't forget that. Sonia mentioned going out and doing outreach. Well, we have some things coming up that will be opportunities for you to use your certification, which is your license to hunt, and we give some opportunities to go hunt. One of those is the Baltimore on June 4th. There is a CRMSCC and Baltimore City Small Business Advance Conference. Both CRMSCC and Baltimore City will be working together to provide an opportunity for you to see federal, state, and local and corporate people all in one location for business, for networking, for outreach, but for one-on-one conversations and small group conversations with you and people who have contracts. You want to be there and you want to take advantage of that opportunity. Also on April 23rd, Sonia will be hosting a MBEIC breakfast where you have the opportunity to meet and network with other minority businesses who are just like you, trying to work toward making their business plans actionable by meeting clients, by meeting partners, and just meeting and getting information from others on how they got to where they're going. It pays to be present at those events. Um, so those are just a couple things coming up. Stay tuned. If you're getting this email, you will also get other. Renee, Ray, are you talking? Okay. If you are on this email, then you will also get other emails from the council from on things related to the capital readiness program, the Key Bridge Build Back Better program, which is designed to support businesses that are within that have been impacted by the collapse of the Key Bridge 2 years ago. And there are a lot of businesses I think it was Don, who, no, Will Cox, who is in trucking. He probably his business probably stopped for a while there while the bridge went down and the ship hit it, and a lot of businesses had a lot of problems there. We're trying to help those businesses. So if you've not part of the Key Bridge Build Back Better program, go on to the website and to our MSCC website, go over to our link and click on that, and there's a registration there. Or call Renee Sanford or me, and we will help you get into the program. What else is there? I think those are all the things I can think of. There's some other folks who are part of the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council on the call. Nicole Miles, Christine Bivens, Latoya is on here. Anyone else have anything? Latoya Moore. Anybody else have anything you want to comment on before we close out? Okay, well then, we thank you very much for joining us on this important program. As we stated, your MDOT certification is your license to hunt. Go forth and hunt and be profitable. Thank you very much.